make their dreams become reality in real estate.
Awesome. Love it. That's more inspiring than I said real estate, right? Joanne,
Everything I wrote down started, will I help?
I help. So that's what you
Three,
do? You
four
help.
lines, I help. I
Love
help
it.
people do this, I help them do that.
Okay.
I help.
Dina,
I wrote, I manage expectations and I educate.
awesome. Very cool. Love it. Anybody else? Yeah, Ed.
I serve families to relocate successfully. I serve investors to make wise real estate decisions.
Nice. Love it. Liz.
I believe everyone who can afford a home and wants to buy a home should have a clear roadmap to obtain that goal. And I am the travel advisor, so to speak.
You are cheating. You skipped ahead. What were the first two words in what she said?
I believe.
You're ahead of us. Thank you for being ahead of us. So that's awesome. That just means that you get it from, and it's okay, because that wasn't the, right now we're just writing what we do. But way to go.
I apologize.
No, I think it's, Liz, look, hey, that's great. I love it. You know what, you can leave if you want, because you got it. All right.
You don't want
Now, turn the page. Oh, no. I'm sorry, who else? Did anybody else have something they want to share? Okay. Turn the page over to, let's write down the how. Let's write down how you do that. And this is the nuts and bolts. Right? If what you do is connect people with their dream home, then this is how you do it. This is, well, I, in addition to searching for property for you and setting you up on a blah, 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 am actually going to be able to find you properties sometimes that aren't even on the market because I do this and because I do that and blah, blah, blah. Right? And I'm going to be able to even show you for sale by owners and brand new houses and houses listed by other companies and houses listed by us. And I work really hard. But don't call me after 8 o'clock at night. Don't call me after 5:30. Just kidding. All right? Here's some suggestions that were on there. The reason I put those on there is because those had to do with what I did when I sold. And I'm gonna at the end of this, we're gonna turn these three things around. Some of you, Liz, like your head, some of you are in the next 25 minutes are gonna have your why down so tight that it's gonna change your business overnight. I promise. I don't care how much business you do. Anybody need more time? Who wants to share some of their thoughts on how they do what it is that they do? Liz.
I enable, direct, advise, and question.
Love it. Anybody else? Yes. Susan.
I learned about what's important to you.
Nice. Who else? Okay. Awesome. So here's the hard part. This one is the one that everybody struggles with. Write down why you do it. And remember what we said, if you turn back 3 pages, why is what you believe. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. People don't buy what you make, they buy what you believe. Write down why you do what you do. Write down what you believe. Write down the truth. And I don't care if what you're writing down that you believe, if you think that it would hurt more than help in an appointment. It does not matter. Write down the truth. Let me give you guys a little extra time on this. I'll know why. Who wants to share why they do what they do? Timothy.
I believe that I will listen effectively to understand your need to get you to where you want to go and accomplish your goal or solve your problem.
Cool. Who else wants to share? John.
I have a genuine concern for the well-being of my clients and allows me to serve my clients with the utmost care and concern for what is best for them in a professional and personal manner.
So that, to me, says more about, it says something about what you believe, but it's really how you do what you do. Do you get the difference? What do you believe that makes you do things that way? Because you talk about care and concern, genuine care and concern. What do you believe? Maybe you believe no one else does. Or maybe you believe that's lacking. I don't know.
I believe that's lacking.
Okay.
That's actually why I got into business.
Start with what you believe. Jazzy.
I sell real estate because I believe everybody should have a place to call home.
Awesome. So instead of I sell real estate, because is that sentence structure inside out or outside in? What's the
Outside
first
in.
3 things you said? 3 words. Well, I sell real
Well,
estate.
I'm sorry, I believe everybody should have a place to call home.
Awesome. That's what you believe. Love it. Who else has something they believe? Yes, Joni.
Also is from Quantum Leap, because that was great.
Do it. Let's hear it.
I believe that your home is more than a home. It defines your personal art of living.
Ooh, I love that. Awesome. That's what you believe.
What did she
That's
say?
great.
What was the?
Say it loud.
I stole this, so.
Stand up. Stand up. Sorry, I got to keep making you stand
Plagiarized a little
up.
bit.
It's good to stand up.
But I
Keeps it
thought it
comfortable.
was, it came out of the Quantum Leap course, but he talked about, I believe that your home is not just a place you live, it really defines your personal art of living. So I thought it was a great thing.
That's very cool. Yeah. Michael.
I believe that there's a marketing or purchasing strategy for each buyer or seller, and I believe that by being 100% committed to your success, you can achieve your goals.
Cool. Dina.
I believe a home is the largest financial and emotional investment of a person's life.
Very cool. So, yeah, Richard.
I believe I can help you.
Awesome. Cool. Yes.
I
Melissa.
believe in helping people achieve their goals.
Okay. Ed.
I believe that my reason to do real estate is to be part of you successfully reaching your goals with all my passion, experience, and knowledge in real estate.
Awesome. Cool. Who else has something they want to share? Okay. So now here's where we're going to put it together. We have 3 things. We have, and there is no right or wrong. Get it? Like, not everybody in here is going to connect with everybody else's why, right? Some of you might have said, oh, that thing Joni said was really cool, and maybe you even got excited you. Other people would have been like, whatever, I don't care about that. Why? Because you don't believe that, and guess what? That's okay.
You're a guy. Why?
No, really. So let's talk about how this sounds. Before we do this next exercise, let's talk about how this sounds in your UVP. If you turn to this slide right here, the one that says Vivint Solar on the bottom. I'm just kidding, I nailed it. Thanks again to our sponsors, by the way, Bruce Ford and Vivint Solar. These guys rock. All right, so we're going to start with why, right? So here's what we're going to write it down. Joanne, yes?
You got it handled.
Okay, you can find the one that says Vivint Solar on the bottom?
No.
I'm kidding. They all do. Oh, UVP, Unique Value Proposition. And is there something in here misspelled? Problem. I told you I made all this stuff up last night at like 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, so we're going to start with why. And I'm going to give you guys my example for my real estate business when I was selling, what this sounds like in a listing appointment. Okay? So assume that we went through all the needs analysis, remember the questions and everything, and now it's time. We're at the point where most people do their what? Presentation. Here's what I do. Here's blah 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 blah. Here's the comms. Here's all my cool marketing. Here's my video drone. Here's my walkthrough video. Here's all my client testimonials. List with me, right? So. And I'm going to set the stage really quick because I sold in the same market like this, but this works in any market, honestly. In that what we did to sell property and what we did that was different than everybody else is we took the listing, pre-hyped the listing, put the property in MLS on a Wednesday. Don't tell them. Put the property in MLS on a Wednesday, didn't allow any showings until Saturday at 11. Door knocked 100 homes and invited them to all come to the VIP neighbors only preview of the property from 10:30 on. And then showings were allowed from 11 to 3, and by the way, that was the big giant open house, grand opening, where we had 20 signs out, open houses from 11 to 3, have a big easy up in the driveway with a table and a banner that says the Merlino Real Estate Team, and my assistant out there registering people as they come in to win a mountain bike that we gave away once a quarter. And what I pitched to them on this was and the truth, what I truly believed on this was that, look, the buyers, it's a crazy market. The buyers have been waiting now 7 days to see your property since they learned about it, and now when they finally get there, there's cars parked up and down the street, there's a tent in the driveway, there's 15 other people in the house, and so, you know, draw your own conclusions. It's not gonna make anybody buy your property who doesn't wanna buy it, it's just gonna make people write better offers sooner, you may potentially have more than one offer, blah, 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 okay? So that was what we did, so that was what I did, right? But here is my unique value proposition, starting with why? Brett, listen, I really appreciate this time with you, and I'm glad we got a chance to know each other, and I've got a lot of information here for you. Let me tell you something. Here's the truth. This is what I know. I believe that you don't really need to sell your house. You could write for sale with a red crayon on a white piece of paper and staple it to a tree out front, and it's going to work. Your house is going to sell. You could hire anybody, a discount broker, to list it for whatever. In fact, if you're going to do that, let me know, because I'll show you somebody who will do it for $500 and put it in MLS for you. And they'll stick a sign in the yard, and they'll put the property in MLS, and they'll wait for the phone to ring. And that's going to work. It's going to sell your house. But you'll never know how much money you left on the table because you didn't list your house with me. Can I explain? And he says, yeah, tell me more. Or he says, really? And I say, and then I go through everything that I just said to you guys about how. That was where I stopped was the end of my what? Why? I believe you don't need a real estate agent to sell your house. Remember when I said, even if you think it's not in your best interest, what you believe, what you really think the truth is, write it down anyway? Because initially, is that really in my best interest to tell somebody in a listing appointment, hey, you don't need to list your house with me. You could sell it yourself. It'll work. You don't need to list your house with me. You could hire a discount broker that'll do it way cheaper than me. It'll work. But the end of my why is what? You'll never know how much money you left on the table because you didn't list your house with me. Can I explain? And that's a script, right? But it's also the truth. It's what I believe. Jimmy talked about internalizing your scripts. When you guys write this stuff down, the reason I wanted to give you my example is because I wanted you to hear what it sounds like in a listing appointment, or hear what it sounds like in a buyer-broker agreement. Hey, Shad, listen, let me tell you, this is the truth. You can go on Zillow and Trulia and Craigslist and find properties to buy. You can go on Realtor.com by yourself and set up a search and find properties to buy. You can run around and call off the signs and call the listing agent, and they'll show you the house and they'll sell you the house. You don't really need me to represent you in the sale of the house. You can buy a house without me. But the truth is, you'll never know how much you could have saved and how much more peace of mind you would have had when you moved in because you didn't use me to represent you in that purchase. Can I explain? Same thing, really, right? Just different. I used to get, that's what my buyer's agent had to do to get a buyer-broker agreement. That was part of her script. And then she went into how. So the only reason I'm bringing that up isn't so, and if you like that, cool, use it, I don't care. But the truth is, if it isn't what you believe, it isn't going to work. So if I said stuff and you thought it was BS, great. You wouldn't list your house with me, and that's okay, because I have abundance. But it's not going to work for you to adopt somebody else's why. So now that you guys have all written down your why, now's the time. Start with why. Liz, you were ahead of us on this. Your sentence starts with why. I believe this about what I do. I believe this. Because I believe this, I do this. That's your how. And then what I do is so that you will get whatever you want, right? Whatever your client you want who's in front of you wants. Go. Write this.
Go over what again? Because what's the only thing that's...
So what is how I do it? So at the end of my at the end of my why,
right.
You'll never know how much money you left on the table because you didn't list your house with me. Can I explain?
Yeah, that sounds
pretty arrogant to me, but okay. So we talked a little bit before about pre-marketing the property. This is the what, right? So Liz, have you ever seen, did you go see Spider-Man yet?
Not yet.
It's a big summer blockbuster, right, coming out in the spring, summer?
Absolutely.
How long have they been advertising that movie?
Forever. I don't know,
Forever.
about a month.
Ad nauseam. Probably about a year, actually, if you go back and like look at all the stuff they've been doing. Why do you think they do that? Hype. Huh? Hype. They're hyping it, right? What's important to them about pre-hyping it? Why do the studios spend all that
To
money?
get the revenue.
Huh?
The revenue.
Return.
So this is a role play. This is what, I would actually ask this question. This is my what? It's interrogatory. It
Right.
engages the client rather than telling them. I'm asking them.
Opening
So-
day is the biggest day.
So opening day is the biggest day. And and why do you think that's important to them? What happens if they blow all the box office grosses out of the water on their opening weekend? What happens to that movie?
It'll ensure that more and more people will go, and it'll ensure a financial success.
Yeah, they get a whole bunch of free advertisement for it and all that. So they do that for that exact reason. The media reports it and everything, right?
Right.
So the opportunity, Liz, in this market is the exact same thing. Your property, there's a ton of buyers and not very many sellers. Your property's in demand, right? And so what I told you before about which is why you don't need to hire anybody if your only goal is to sell it. But if your goal is to maximize your net, thinking about that Spider-Man example, here's how you would do that. We're going to pre-hype your home as well. We're going to put that property out there for everyone so that there's no one left out there that would buy your property that does not know it's for sale. And we're going to make them wait to see it. And then when they finally get to see that property, there's going to be 15 or 20 other people in the house. There's going to be cars parked up and down the street. What do you think is going to happen when the buyers who have been waiting a week to see that property get in the house and see that? What do you think?
Well, they're going to be overly enthused, and they're not going to
Sure.
want to be left out of the opportunity.
Right, exactly. And here's what that translates into for you. How easy is it going to be for me on your $1.5 million property to get you 20, 30, 40 grand more in your final sales price just because we went that extra mile and did that legwork to really maximize your property's impact when it debuts? Right? And then, what happens, who has all the leverage before you go in escrow when you get offers on the property?
So,
Right.
well,
And then once you're in escrow with the buyer, now who has all the leverage?
buyer.
Right. And so,
Unless there's backup.
exactly.
Right.
So the buyer's got all the leverage once you get in escrow, typically.
Yeah.
And they had to pay a premium to get your house, so now what do they want to do?
And they want to negotiate.
They want to get a little bit of that money back.
Right.
Ooh, I don't know about that inspection report. I don't know about that, that pest report, that section 2, I think that's important.
So I can
Right.
support you in voting no on.
So yeah, exactly. So here's what happens with that. When that buy, and in the typical listing, where your property's on the market and the agent gets an offer and they come and say, hey, this is a great offer, it's awesome, you should take it, and you take that offer, that's the only game in town, or one of the only games in town. That buyer has that leverage. In your situation, that buyer who's just been through that open house and just seen all that competition and potentially even had to compete to get your property, and maybe it was even a multiple offer situation. Do you think that buyer wants your house to go back on the market? And so it allows me as your representative to hold the line a little bit better, a lot better actually, on
Yeah, 'cause you have
what we call
downloads, yeah.
requests for repairs in the business, right? Okay? Yeah, Bruce?
Tell me if this is applicable. The final scene in Wolf of Wall Street, have
Ah.
you seen it?
Yes.
So. the
Okay,
boys
I
are
recommend that movie, but don't watch it with kids.
Building scarcity. And that to me is a momentum changer. Is
Mhm.
that even though there might be 5 or 10 models of the same house on the market, only one house can have you had at that price with Roy as your listing agent.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
You want to talk hype? Look at the Pet Rock.
Yeah, yeah. How many people bought that stuff?
Go outside. It's a rock, but it's not the Pet Rock.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that, Bruce, absolutely. And so now, as you do this, for the last few minutes of this workshop, write down why you do what you do. And you've heard what it sounds like.
Yeah, we're done.
I mean, my stuff might float your boat or not, but you've heard what it sounds like in a listing appointment to communicate from the inside out. Now, you've heard what it sounds like in a buyer-broker agreement appointment to communicate from the inside out. So